Hello, hello. Alright, think I'm live. So hello, hello. Today we actually are not working on face tracking stuff. We're actually going to be working on just a really quick game, hopefully. I say hopefully because I never really know how long these things will actually take. It's always kind of a toss-up. It's beautiful. Alright. So, we're going to be working on just a really quick mini-game collection. I think I'm actually going to rewrite it, since I think some of the patterns I use in this are not very good. Yeah. So you do this several times, and then it breaks, which is really cool. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember anything about this. Well, let's see if we can at the very least scavenge some bits and bobs from it. So this will be www.g re Godot re create this, select the current folder. There we go. Create an edit. So, I'm actually going to use my, I guess, just regular pattern I use now for pretty much everything I do. Alright, we're not going to work on this. I don't really feel like it. So here we go. Auto creates everything for me. What a nice script. No readme, but you don't need a readme. Readmes are for nerds. Okay. So here's a good one though. Is we start with a user interface. Well, no, should be a canvas layer. For anything working in 2D, you're better off just using a canvas layer to start off. Usually. So we'll do, this is just main display. Add a viewports container. Oop. And then add a viewport. And there we go. Have this take up the entire screen. I actually really like using this pattern. It's pretty sick. So this is our main display. And we'll go straight into, actually, we won't. We'll create another scene. This will be main menu, screen. Where did I save this, by the way? I saved it in screens, that's fine. Save this in screens as well. This is the main menu. Well, yeah, that's fine. We'll save it here for now. And then we'll also add a new folder. I was kind of thinking about this last night. One is that for the face tracking stuff, I'm not really sure what approach I want to continue with. So I'm just going to leave that on the back burner for now, because it's a difficult task. It needs to be done, but I'm kind of out of ideas on how to solve it for now. So. So add a new folder just called minigame. So each minigame is more or less pluggable, which is nice. So main display is your main runner. Main display, just like that. We'll need a script on it. So we close and then open this again. There we go, the error is gone. use structured, do all this good stuff. And then just slap this onto here. So this is the main display and the first thing that you'll see. We can add a color rect to it. So just full rect. It's be ugly. Something like this. Hit it with a margin container that's going to be anchored. Let me see. Just do full rect for now, and then we'll scale it down. So top. Yeah, we'll call it 0.5. Why not? 0.5. And then roughly 0.3. 0.4. Yeah, why not? Give it some margins. Mistyped that. I also mistyped this. There we go. Then hit it with a second margin container in order to space everything out on the inside. Always good practice to do this. Hit it with another color rect. See, this is why I actually really like, now that I figured out, like, in order to do reasonably spaced elements, you should do it like this. Now I'm a big fan of it. Only issue is that it took me a little bit to figure out that this is the correct pattern to use. Alright, so now we have a margin container. E-box container, which has a few buttons. 1, 2. 2 buttons for now, actually. And they'll just be... delete this one. So let's set some size flags. Let's do boom. And... oh, actually, that's it. 2 buttons. Custom constants. There we go, look at that. So let's just have a play button for now, and then a quit button. Well, and you know what? Third button, so this is the play button. Probably will change that. This one will be options, button. Well, we don't have to call it button, right? This is just play, options, quit. Just to make the naming a bit easier. So, options. Throw a script onto here. OnReady var. Play. Some sort of button is equal to play. OnReady var options button is equal to options, onReady var quit. There we go. And then we can just connect everything, and Bobby's our uncle. I love it. So on, play. Options. I think I learned a lot of good patterns from doing the game jam thing. So now I feel a lot more confident in doing a lot of this like menu and UI design. It's like I had an epiphany when I started making that game. I was like, oh, all these patterns I was using before kind of suck. Not all of them. But some of them. Let's do play.connect. Rest. Self. On play. There we go. Options connect. Pressed. Self. On options. And then lastly, quit button. We're going to connect pressed, this thing, and then on quit. There we we go. So this one's easy. On quit, it's just get tree, quit. On options is currently unimplemented. Oh, and you know what? Let's go into, let's see. Dream Diary Jam 5. We have utils. Let's use the game manager, and then we'll go back. And just drop this into here. I like using the game manager pattern. I think I'm also gonna use the save data util stuff as well. Let's find that. Godot snippets. Let's drop this into here. Look at that. Save data util. And I'm pretty sure this one more or less just works. I don't remember though. There we go. And this one comes with pretty much everything you really need. And also comes with, conveniently, this thing. Oh, I think this is actually broken as well. How strange. So this message logged. What does onReady var canvas layer do? Yeah, so main display should definitely register itself with the game manager, so hold on. How did I do screen changing in the previous thing I had made? Who's this dog? I can't see the head title. I was here the other day. I'm sorry. It feels a little weird. I don't really want to use the female model all that often. Although I think it does help me get a few more viewers. Which is very, very sad, but it is what it is. Alright, so I'm actually going to copy over a lot of this stuff. Transition screen, need that. We'll grab this. Preload's gonna fail, but don't worry about that too much for now. Is the duck male or female? Yes. It is. It's whatever you want me to be, baby. Cute uwu face. How are you doing, Juan? So let's grab, I don't remember how good this transition screen was, but I remember it worked. And I remembered I was really into it. So let me see. I'm just gonna drop it in here. Just still coding. Heck yeah. Gotta love it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put the face tracking stuff on hold for a little bit, since the algorithm I had in mind, I was thinking about it yesterday, and it was just a little too complicated, I think. So I'm gonna need to think about how to do it just right in order to blend all of these quaternions together and map them to your eyes. So instead, I'm going to work on a really quick one of these. And by one of these, I mean a quick minigame collection. So we'll do a minigame collection. I think I was actually working on this before, but I tried to open up my old project and it no longer opens. So it's like a WarioWare-like game mixed with just random gambling aspects, since people like gambling. But of course, you can't make a game that's just about gambling. You need to earn the gambling credits somehow, which is where the minigames come in. I still think it's a really good idea, and it's weird that no one has done it yet. So how does the transition screen work? There we go. So we'll go to auto load, open up. Let's see, we need to auto load game manager. Boom, sounds good. What does transition screen depend off of? I think this just works. It's a little, actually no, this isn't gross at all. Oh yeah. I remember when I was making this transition screen, and all the transition screen does is it does like a Microsoft PowerPoint, like fades to black and spins the screen, and then it fades in the next screen. And this is what it looks like. So it. But it looks super cool. It looks really. Oh, I don't know if it looks super cool, but it's. I found it entertaining. I think I can actually show that off as well. So maybe I'll just open up a new dev thingy. So I wrote it for a game jam game, and this is... Alright, no export directory, huh? Alright, let's open up a new instance of Godot. So this one should still run. I can show this off. So you do... Oh geez. It's so slow. And then it does like a little spin and fades back in. Look at this, it spins. I think I'm running low on memory, so I'm gonna stop doing that. But it does a lot of spinning and fading. And I remember I really, really liked this part of it, even though I threw it together in like 5 minutes. Because just how clean it was, more or less. I mean, I know it doesn't look clean, but that's because we're doing a lot of interpolations. So. Alright, so this is our main display. This is what should display. Look at that. It works. Yeah, I think the original design I had for this, or at least the software design, was also kind of jank because I think I was downscaling the graphics, which also meant the UI, the GUI, would also be downscaled. But utilizing this approach, where instead of having the scene tree handle, changing scenes, and you know what? Let's do change screen. So I don't lose my mind. So change screen. Yeah, so instead of doing, get tree, get tree, change scene. Now I do just main display, change screen. So this stays as the main handler, and then it just replaces whatever's in our sub viewport, so that our GUI stays, I guess, upscaled. Rogue Knight Studio, or Rogue. Game Jam went all right. I think the beginning went pretty good, or the beginning of the game is all right. The ending clearly has a lot more thoughts and planning put into it, and then just the in-between parts are garbage. Absolutely garbage. So I think overall, not very good, but I did build a lot of, I guess, nice patterns to reuse in my other games, like this one right here. So now I know exactly what I'm doing with viewports and, I guess, having different resolutions present on screen at once. Built out a nice transition screen that is modifiable for different types of, I guess, Microsoft PowerPoint style transitions, as opposed to just popping into the next screen as fast as possible. Got a bit better at 3D modeling, so it wasn't a complete bust. I got better at just game programming stuff, but I think in terms of how fun was the game, Probably not too fun, no. So if I had to rate it out of 10, probably give it like a... The game, probably give it like a 3. The tooling I built for the game, probably like a 7 or 8. Didn't realize you and Rogue Ren were friends. Brought a few of mine to your Discord. Ah. How nice. Yeah, most days I'm actually trying to work on this the space tracker I wrote in Godot, but I'm a little burnt out on it. One of the algorithms was a bit too difficult, so I'm gonna let that sit and see how I feel about it in the future. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so this is gonna be our first minigame. So when you press play, we'll just go straight into a minigame, I suppose. We can modify that. So we'll call this, I don't know. This is just like hammer in, yeah. It's gonna be WarioWare style, so it's just like click, 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 click. As soon as you can, and then we'll go on to the next game. So this isn't really a screen, this is actually its own minigame. So hammer in the nail. I think I've been actually misnaming all of my... Yeah, I've been misnaming all my files as well. God, I hate how the coding convention for Godot is to have your file names be snake cased, but the editor pre-fills in Pascal case. So a lot of these are actually wrong. Hold on. Let's change this. I know this is gonna bother me. I told myself that for a lot of my future projects, I would try to follow the listed convention as listed in the documentation. But it's tough, man. It's tough. Transition screen. This is gonna break some stuff. Transition screen. Game manager shouldn't break anything. Save data util might break some things. Let's see. Main display. Yeah, this is now broken. This needs to be transition screen. There we go. Beautiful. Everything still opens, not runs. I try to say run and open at the same time. Yeah, play doesn't do anything. Options doesn't do anything. Quits. Amazing. All right. All right, and then actually let's have just a gambling, or I guess gambling hub screen. Save this under screens. This is going to be called a gambling hub screen. Gambling hub screen. There we go. Add a camera to D. I'm going to be moving fast since the idea is pretty simple. Hello. How are you doing, Hypno? Hypno7 _. Let's make some really quick placeholders, and I'll just stretch everything out. Not like that though. What's a nice placeholder-y color? This is ugly. Yeah. Red is a little aggressive. Yeah, let's just go with blue. Fill. Amazing. Actually, I should be doing this as 16 by 900, since that's my chosen resolution of choice. I'm doing good. Think about what I want to make in C# or computer science. C#? and no one will have a use for. Oh, and let me tell you what you should make. You should make a programming language. I wrote a programming language in GD scripts that possibly no one has a use for, but you do learn a lot from writing a programming language, especially if you don't follow any guides. I think I just had a few people from chat just kind of like help me out. It was like, you shouldn't use a regex, you should just use flags. And I was like, oh, okay. Is it Turing complete? More or less, yeah. It's implemented in GD script, so it's it's a bit jank, to be sure. Yeah, let me see, this is... What did I call this? Gambling hub. Gambling hub. Ah. Saves. Yeah, we can pull that up. We can pull it up. Check this out. So if we go to my dashboard, and I'm just gonna drop a link into my own chat. Check this out. So run the tool. Wait for it to load, and the best part of it, is because it's written in Godot and GD script and whatever, it actually will just run in the browser natively. So we can do, oh geez, what's the syntax? I've completely forgotten how to do this. I got stuck refactoring this in order to implement Godot, which is something you really shouldn't do. So this is a Lisp. I know that there is like the very popular Make a Lisp tutorial, but I didn't follow that. That's Subs for Nerds. I think this is fine. Yeah. So if we do def x is 0, right? Then you can print out x. It gives you back 0. You can do, I believe this is just called, this is just Polish notation. So you can do 1 plus 1. You can do nested 1 plus 1s, or you can do def. And because it's Lisp, you also have to wrap everything in parentheses, which is how I do a lot of my parsing. So we can do def double is equal to, oh geez, it's lambda x. This is generally where you would put in a tab. And I think we can just do times 2x. And that'll just do a return. Boom, boom. And then if we do double 5, we should get 10. There we go. Look at that. So it's more or less Turing complete, right? You can have functions, you can have arrays. I forget what the syntax for arrays and dictionaries are. But yeah. There's not really a formal function declaration syntax. You just have to assign lambdas to variables, which I think I actually prefer. You know, that's kind of one of my gripes with modern JavaScript is that, you know, you have the Webpack version of JavaScript, and then you have like the old JavaScript. So Webpack is, everything is basically an arrow function, whereas old JavaScript, you still have, you know, formal function declarations. Want to know something funny? It better be funny. I'm on to you. But yeah, go ahead, hit me with it. I'm interested. What is the funny thing you speak of, good sir? Or madame? Alright, and let's scale it by 2, why not? Just make it really big to make sure the camera really captures everything. I'm waiting. Please, tell me a joke. I'm walking through the deserts of game programming, and I'm thirsty for anything else. It's just unusual IG, Instagram. But C# was my first language. I fully learned. I only started programming December last year. Surprisingly, not Python. Huh. Are you self-taught? In which case, that is pretty surprising. If you learned computer science in university, or I guess like from a class, that's not that surprising. Yeah, you're self-taught? That is pretty surprising, yeah. I'm also self-taught, but I learned Python too, so, which seems to be the general trend, so well done. You learned probably one of the better languages to learn as your first language. I think if you're not going to touch any like C++ or manually memory managed languages, then C# or Java are pretty good ones to start. So this is the gambling hub screen, and then we'll have, I don't know, probably just like a button. Actually, what am I doing? Gambling hub screen should just bring you to a different screen. What a waste of time. Close this. This should just be another UI. This will be, actually. Throw in a color rect. Yeah, C#. Once you know C#, I think that I feel like everything else is pretty easy after that. But that's just me. Margin container. We'll just throw you. Let's see. Color rect, and then once you learn the workflow for working with this kind of stuff, it gets really easy. By the way. But I believe this is also how Unity does their UI stuff, so. But yeah, once you learn C# and Java, everything else is really easy to learn. That's how I feel like. Anyway, learning something like JavaScript. Java, I mean, Java is just C#, right? So JavaScript is probably a good next one to learn. I think JavaScript though is a bit weird in my opinion, because the quality of tutorials is just all over the place, because you have people who are, you know, self-taught, and so their tutorials are just like, I made a thing work, check it out. And it's like, this isn't really how you should be doing it. Like, yeah, it technically works, but Oh, and then there's also like the two styles of JavaScript I was kind of touching on earlier, where there's like the early 2000s style of JavaScript, which is the one I know, and then there's the Webpack style of JavaScript, which is what I think most if you're generating if you're going to be learning Node.js JavaScript and you're using npm, so you're doing something like create React app or whatever, that's using Webpack JavaScript. Joke, top developer gets 200 stars on GitHub based on pure skill and origami meet and greets. You can take that influence, makes a simple hello world program, and asks to support him, gets 1,000 GitHub stars. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. I mean, to be fair, they are playing the game, right? Like, it's the entire, you know, the kind of like social networking game. It is like a game. You need to know how to play it. If you don't want to play it, then you just have to hope you get lucky. Hope someone else who's better at playing the game finds you, basically. That's the... It's just like on LinkedIn, right? The you know, the social networking site for professionals, quote unquote. It's all turned into just, you know, your like farming or reaction farming. So it's, you know, it's like you know, press like if your first language you learned was Python. Press clap. The first language you learned was Java. Press excite if blah blah blah, you know? And all that does is increase your SEO so that the LinkedIn or whatever algorithm picks you up faster. And you know what? I respect the hustle. I don't respect I mean, I respect the hustle. I don't respect the means, but I respect the willingness to degrade yourself to that level. I'll say that. So, gambling. Well, this is actually going to be a placeholder. So I feel like the play button should either be a continue button or new game button, but we're going to make it play for now. So we'll do var gambling full play screen. And we'll add a note later. It's like to do. Well, let's load it in. And then dot instance. There we go. Oh, actually, no. Right? Since I'm using everything via the main display, yeah. I actually should just pass this in. So it'll be game manager dot main change screen. Yeah, there we go. And then it will automatically load in pretty much all this stuff, right? So we do play. Trying to assign value of type control to a variable of type spatial. Why are these all spatials? Did I mess something up? Hold on. Wee. Look at that. God, I love that transition. It brings out, it makes me very nostalgic for my childhood. Oh God, oh. And then you first play a game and nothing happens. But I think I have the sorting algorithm written already for this stuff. And by this stuff, I mean loading in minigames. So let's see, how do you go to... How do you load in get tree test game? Let me see. Screens. What was my test game? Test game. Or like how did I continue button new button doesn't do anything. We go straight to minigame manager. I remember now. Where is my minigame manager? There we go. So I need something like this. So load next minigame, generate possible minigames. Okay, let's just copy this stuff. This is not stealing. I actually wrote this. Are you just using Note++? Yeah, I'm just using Notepad++. Yeah, I usually use VS Code if I need to look at two things at once, but we're trying to go fast. I usually work on this face tracker, actually, because I wrote this. You can find this open source on my GitHub under MIT license if you would like to try it out. I provide builds for Windows and Linux. No Mac build, but I mean, I do provide the fork of Godot that I'm using, so you can just compile it yourself, I suppose. But yeah, Notepad++, pretty sick. You know, I'm glad I have access to it, as opposed to, you know, at work I have to use just Vim. I either use Vim or just regular Notepad, so work is suffering, etc., etc. Possible minigames. Oh, I did not copy over everything I needed to. So this extends node. I don't think this needs to. Oh, that's fine. This can extend node if it wants to. I just use VS Code. Yeah, well, VS Code is a little heavy in my opinion, especially if I'm just trying to open up files, you know? Is a Linux build an app image file or a deb? It's a, I I don't really know what it is. It's a binary file. So I haven't bundled it into an app image, and it's not a package, a Debian package or whatever. It's just a binary. So as long as you're running an Ubuntu distribution or Fedora, or I suppose not Fedora, but a CentOS derived distribution. Actually, technically, it would be a RHEL derived distribution. Let me keep changing things around. I don't like using game engines too often because a lot of the languages can practically be its own game engine. If that makes sense. It's technically wrong, but I get what you're talking about. Technically wrong, but I know what you're saying. So a game engine is more refers to like a complete suite of things it provides for you. So like the three big game engines right now are Unreal, Unity, and Godot. Well, I suppose Game Maker, so that'd be the big four. Whereas something like Monogame, so you mentioned that you do C#, Monogame is a game framework. Just like for Java, libgdx is a game framework. Lua has Love2D, well that's actually Lua JIT. And free from crypto miners, right? Well, the source is available, so you can compile it yourself if you want. So the current master branch of this program, OpenCFaceGD, is compatible with the latest Godot 3.x branch. So not the current release, but the next release. Gambling HUD screen. So we'll do, let's see, it's Game Manager. I don't see a use for Lua in other aspect, other than making low quality games in core. I'm talking raw Lua, not that Roblox modified version of Lua. You know, there's actually a pretty decent amount of games written in Lua, right? Like, have you heard of Snake RX? That's a game written in Lua, Love2D. There's a pretty good amount of games written in Lua. And Lua JIT is actually almost as fast as C#. Have you heard of JMonkey? JMonkey is an old Java engine. Right? I'm not really into that, but you can do whatever you want, I suppose. I believe Java is written using LW, whatever it's called, LW something, not libgdx. But you can write games in pretty much any language you want, besides like the really, really slow ones. But even then, you know, Pygame is fast enough. Like I wrote, it's not an Astro, what's it called? Space Invaders. It's not really Space Invaders. Maybe closer to, what is it, Arkanoids clone? Using Highlang, which is based off of Python. It's a Lisp-style Python variant, compiles down to Python, and it was using SDL2 bindings. And like, it was, you know, performance enough. You know, I think performance isn't really a huge thing you have to worry about. Especially if you're writing for 2D, it doesn't really matter. Alright, so this is still pretty good, I think. And it's using Game Manager RNG. Okay, there we go. And then we'll just get sent straight to this one, right? So we'll do sprites. Oh yeah, there's a pretty good amount of Love2D, which is Lua style games. Each language has its purpose. I wouldn't count any of them out, you know? And I know that, was it, a lot of Japanese games actually like to use, was it Ruby as their scripting language. SoakScript will be the next top language in the world, I can promise you that. SoakScript is the language you're making. Okay, so what syntax does it use? Is it close to, which language is it close to? Which paradigm are you also targeting? Is it imperative? A la like C style? Is it C style? Is it object oriented? Kind of like Java, or is it more of like a Golang or Rust style language where you just attach functions to structs? Is it a functional language like Haskell? Will that have macros like, what's this name? Like a Lisp style language? Actually, my Lisp has macros. They're kind of broken right now since they only work on first level macros, and then if your macro gets any more nested, it just breaks. But that'll be solved once I rewrite the parser. Yeah, once you write enough, or once you learn enough languages, they all kind of blend together. I think the only ones I still need to really like use are C++ and, well, I've written a few C++ modules for Godot, so I shouldn't say that, but I guess it's just C I haven't really used. God, I love that transition. Did I not? Oh, I didn't hook this up. Right. So add a script. Then we'll hook up play games. I don't know. I don't really like this name, but we're gonna keep it for now. Yeah, so I'm assuming that since your language has scripts in the name, it's meant as a scripting language and should be pretty easy to read, since pretty easy to read and or flexible, right? Since that's kind of the benefit of a scripting language. So like Python, excellent scripting language. Ruby, it's okay, I guess. People seem to like it. I find the really flexible syntax of Ruby to be really confusing, actually. I'm more of a just do everything the same way every single time kind of guy. Or, you know, learn thing once and then only do things that way until you learn a better way. And then we'll change screen to, well, actually we'll hit the minigame manager. So we'll do auto load. Grab the minigame manager. There we go. Just add it here. And I suppose that this has generate possible minigames, load next minigame. Okay, so we can do this, I think. Oh, but then I'll need to also change these, because these all change it directly, so they don't respect my very fancy resolution changer. That makes sense. Let's see. Dun dun dun. Minigame path is not. Oh, minigame name. There we go. So if empty. Oh, minigame name empty. Okay, this makes sense, right? So we hook this up to the Gambling Hub screen. Go to minigame manager. Load next minigame. Pass in an empty string. Or just don't pass in anything at all, right? And then we'll press play, and then we should just be sent to the first screen God, I love this transition. I don't know if, oh, that's weird. Look at that. How does that happen, actually? How did that happen? What happened there? So this one, we send it, but then we press this one, it... What happens there? Is it because the camera changes? It might be because the camera changes. Interesting. Interesting. It is... What if I just don't have a camera, I suppose? Well, no, because then... Alright, wait, hold on. I'm thinking. So I need to move this down to like here. So I need to move it in order of half in order to refocus it inside of the viewport. Yes. Right? That makes sense? So I'll need to do get tree, well, bar parent viewport, right? Viewport is equal to get parent. Well, untype it for now, and then if parent's viewport is some sort of viewport, then we'll do let's see. We'll need to get the half extents, so it'll be parent. Hold on. Let's typecast it really quick just so I can get... Does it get visible rect? What does this do? Viewport... Can't I just get like the regular rect? It's starting to sound a bit weird now that I keep saying rect. Get the rect. Say get the rect 10 times fast. See what kind of fun words you accidentally say. Yeah, size. Okay, so that's the size. So we'll do var size for size some sort of vector 2, right? So what value is this? Is this the actual width and height, or is this the half width half width half height? I think it's the actual, right? Yeah. So we'll do self dot position is equal to viewport size self dot position. Oh yeah, viewport size divided by 2. So I think we can do this, and that should just work now. Ah, jeez. Invalid set index position. Isn't position a vector 2? Hey. Is it not? Am I crazy? Oh. Oh, this is the gambling. What? No. Oh, this is the gambling hub screen. Okay, hold on. I'm on the wrong thing. Send me back. Oh, this doesn't even have a script on it. That would do it. So do this, and then we click on this button. Look at that. He's done it. So everything will just have to inherit from, or everything will just have to do that if it has a camera on it, which isn't always guaranteed. Oh, also, thanks for the follow, Hypno7. Didn't notice it, but usually I usually have something running on here. Let me see. Right now it doesn't shout out follows, but I do have the capability of doing that. It's a bit hard to test though, since I can't like unfollow myself. Let's see, what is it called? It's called Friendly Potato Stream. This is also available on GitHub. Check this out. Look at that. Has all kinds of weird stuff on it. Also written in Godot. I just like to make everything in Godot apparently. If only because I prefer to program in Python, but a lot of Python libraries, and Python itself isn't really conducive for graphics programming. I guess you want to make a terminal application is fine, but it's not really what I'm here to do. Let's see, this works. Hammer in the nail. Let's draw a really quick hammer. What does a hammer look like? Alright, so new thingy. Let's see, hammers look like this. Oh, that's not what a hammer looks like. Look at this. Really sharp end piece. And they all go back to here. It's free draw just with like our mouse. There we go. That's more or less a hammer. Hit it with a second layer. And let's really get going on this. So, as we all know, you're not supposed to use black as the main outline. You want to do something like this. Okay. Let's just have like a weird sketchy look to it. There we go. I know that you can, it is possible. Like people do actually make like MS Paint drawings with just their mouse, but I ain't about that life. Alright, cool. So we can get rid of... Oh, have I been drawing on the wrong layer? I have been. Alright. Good job, me. Anyways, this is colored in, I suppose. So we want like a darkish brown, something like that. So we just color it in really quickly. I do actually have a graphics tablet though, but still not too much of a drawer. More of a musician type. Alright. That's looking okay. So let's just draw like this and then we'll erase the rest. And that's our hammer. We can scale it up or down inside of the editor as needed. And then since I'm actually going to be crushing the resolution anyways, so it doesn't really matter. It's beautiful. Merge these two layers together. No background. Look at that. Save. Send it. Actually, don't send it just yet. We should grab only what we need. Copy. New thingy. New layer, paste, get rid of the background, and there we go. Save. This is just like hammer. It's that PNG. And then inside of Godot, we'll go inside of hammer in the nail. We'll have just a hammer graphic, I suppose, that will follow you around. So that will be your like guess, hammer. So let's do... yeah, it's just a sprite, and then we'll just be rotating it. So this is the background. And this is the hammer sprite. And then... let's see. We'll load in the hammer from here. Actually, since the hammer is localized, we should do it like this. So assets, hammer, get rid of that. Cut this out, and then just drop it in here, because this is actually an asset. There we go. It is beautiful. So hammer is now a texture. And of course, there's not really a hard or a cut and dry rule for doing a lot of this kind of stuff. It's just whatever feels right to you. Unfortunately. I mean, there are like best practices, for sure. But at the end of the day, it's more about how you work best. That's how I see things, at least. Like, yeah, I mean, I think if I was following best practices, I also would use like a... I wouldn't do everything in GD script. I would actually write like I would abstract things more, but we're not here to do that. If I wanted best practices, I would just go back to work. Alright, so we rotate. Okay, what if we rotate hammer? Boom, boom. So that's what I want. How do I make this happen? Is it just like this? More or less? And then we'll rotate this one. I want it to track at a specific point. Let me see. How do rotations work? Do I need a second node to handle the rotations? So you rotate this node. Move this node over, then rotate it. Move it over a bit more. Yeah, because we need to offset the hammer. And then also offsets... Yeah, so we don't rotate this one, right? We don't rotate the main node. Okay, so this is basically like handling cameras in 3D. So you have like the main camera mount points, then the various pivot points for side to side and up and down. And then the camera will be its own thing. And that's more or less the system I've got going on here. I mean, this isn't a camera, obviously. Let's see, we can move around the hammer. The hammer will just be tracking your player mouse. And then whenever you, I guess, click, right? We'll do like a ching, 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 ching. Actually, move it closer to here, the pivot points. Yeah, that's a bit better, actually. It's not as wide of a swing anymore, which is nice. Oh, don't do that. Yeah, hit it with like a bonk. Yeah. Something like that. So we'll go from bomb. Right? We can move it farther up. I don't know. I think the original way I had it was probably the best way, and I've just completely messed it up. Boom. Boom. Yeah, okay. This is fine. Save. We'll attach a script to this just to make it really easy, or we can break it out and make it its own thing, but each of these is supposed to be more or less self-contained. So this is where I'm saying that we are abandoning best practices at this point. So usually you would make this a different object, but it's a minigame. Let's not make it too difficult or make it too complicated. So we don't want this. New thing. What do nails look like? I'm drawing a blank. Alright. Send me back to brush. This is roughly what a nail looks like, right? It's something like something like this. It's more of like a thumbtack. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, add a new layer. And this will be our color layer, so it'll be a little bit rusty. We give it a kind of a rusty brown. Actually, no, we won't. We'll call it more of a gray. Kind of very sloppily colored in. There we go. Actually, we can just do it up here as well. This is kind of the same approach I take towards Blender as well. And then let's hit it with a little bit of transparency. Make this one. Look at that. That looks okay. Ugh. Yeah, that's pretty good. Hit it with the eraser, just kind of. Hey, this is not the eraser. Oh, the eraser has transparency too. I didn't realize. The more you know. All right, and there's our nail. Look at that. That looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. So get rid of the background. Grab just the nail since we're not doing anything with it. New thing. New layer, who dis. Yada yada. Save this as. Let's actually add this folder to our quick shortcut since I do want to finish this pretty quickly. Yeah, so you can see it's WW Godot WarioWare style Godot re, since it's the second take V2. Hammer in the nail, and this is just nail. And actually, we could have like more than one nail. Yeah, and so let's do something like this. So we'll copy everything one more time. Drop it in here. Yeah. So lock it down, and then let's just grab this part. It's the move tool, right? And then we'll just. Yeah, that looks natural. That looks really natural. Looks good. Looks good. I like it. I think it was 11. Yeah. Doink. There we go. Where's the dropper tool? Dropper is K. So we'll just draw straight on. Yeah, we'll draw straight on it. Just be very careful not to mess anything up. Beautiful. Hit me with the dropper again. A little bit of shading on that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Go back to this, hit it with a bit of opacity. There we go. Eraser, full opacity. Get rid of this part. And there we go. Then we can just flip between the two images. Really easy. hammered in nail. I'll go back to Godot. And let's just have a few nails, I suppose. We'll just, yeah. I think the nails will definitely have to be their own thing, though. For sure. So add child node, node 2D. Nail, and it'll have a sprites attached to it. It's not going to be animated sprites. Add in a texture. You know what? Since these are the same size, right? Let's make a kind of jank, I guess, sprite map. Or not sprite map, but like, I guess it's like a texture atlas, but it's not really an atlas either. Actually, can't you create an atlas in Godot? Let's do this. Let's do this live. I've never done this before, but I know what an atlas is, more or less. How do I create an atlas? This is the atlas. So how do you create? I've never done this before in Godot. How do you create an atlas? Godot texture atlas. Atlas texture. So it needs to atlas texture. Yeah, sure. Crop out part of it. Atlas texture. Oh, okay. I have no idea what I'm hearing. What I'm earing or what I'm hearing? There's kind of a big difference between the two. If you are earing something, you should probably see an ENT. So really shouldn't be earing anything, but what you are hearing is, I suppose, a rubber duck doing some really quick programming since they don't want to do real work. Yeah, I'm making a WarioWare style, I guess, gambling game. So the idea here, right, hear me out, is that, you know, gambling is fun, we all know that. But if you just make a game that's all gambling and you don't have to earn the money, it's no longer all that fun. So you accrue money in order to gamble on all types of weird slot machines and whatever, or like gacha, whatever. I think gacha games are actually as scummy as the business model is, they're still pretty fun. Oh, this is the wrong thing. But this isn't going to be paid. This is just, you know, you accrue points from playing mini games, and then you can, you know, gamble for fake money. So 618, 618, right? Yeah. 618. Grab this, drop it into here. Grab this, select all, drop it into here, and it needs to be placed very carefully. Very carefully. So it's not, more or less, that's more or less right. There we go. And we can just save it, I think. I think I messed this up a little bit, so just grab the edges like so. There we go. So this is the new nail, and it's pretty easy to strip it back out. So this is fine. So this is wrong, this is wrong. Yeah, so now we're not gonna use a texture atlas, I don't need this. We're doing something more akin to like sprite maps. But how are you doing, Mardoq9? Look at that. So animation, it's just 2 H-frames. Look at that, and then we can flip between the two, boom. I think it'd be better if there were like 3, but who cares? Actually, for this one, let's do this really quick, where we draw over, give this like a real outline really quickly. Yeah. I said yeah as if like this is looking good, but this is not looking very good. The nail looked a lot better. Just very carefully. I mean, listening, I need to improve my listening skill. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, it's a bad habit of mine. When I run out of things to say, I'll start using bigger and bigger words. It's because it gives me more time to think about what I want to say next. Because that's part of my job. During like, you know, the regular day, the normal day, which is generally what I do. Oh, this is saving in the wrong place. Hold on. Save as. Get out of here. We'll save this. Mini games, assets, hammer. Save as. Boom. Alright, so this should re-import. Yeah, there we go. So there's our hammer. Then we can make this look good. But yeah. Well, I mean, even if you don't understand what I'm saying, hopefully you can be soothed by the relaxing tones of my voice. Hopefully, I don't know. If not, I suppose that's unfortunate. Yeah, that looks alright. Never mind. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay. So now we will say branch as seen. Go to mini games, hammer the nail. This is just like the entity, the single entity, but we'll still create a folder for it. So nail, and this is what it looks like. This will have a few scripts attached to it. Yeah, I do software demos professionally, and I also do like a lot of programming, but demos are also a big part of my job. So they say that it's similar in how a website works, right? So if you have to wait for a website to load for more than, I think it's like 3 seconds, to wait for more than 3 seconds, you'll lose focus and probably close the website. In a similar manner, if you are giving a demo and you have to wait, and your audience has to wait for more than like roughly 3 seconds, they'll start to get uncomfortable and they'll start asking you questions to break the silence. And that is something that you absolutely do not want to happen. Because as soon as the audience starts asking you questions, you're done. You're doomed. I want to start my study on Godot just for fun. Oh, well, there we go. I have been making just random stuff in Godot for a while. Like this stream overlay is made in Godot. You can find it on my GitHub. This thing here, also made in Godot. You can kind of recognize some of the UI elements are from Godot. This is also on my GitHub for free. Free and open source, yada yada. So check those out if you want. Or you can just stick around. I'm making a gambling style, WarioWare style gambling game. So, should be fun. I wonder if the sprite should be higher. So the sprite should be here. And then when we toggle it, boom, boom, something like that. Boom, boom. Sorry I left unannounced. I was forced to listen for my baby sister while she was asleep in case she got up. Hey, that's no problem. You know, I'm not forcing you to be here. You can leave whenever you want, or you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. something. Welcome to the Hotel California. Well, I enjoy being here, so. Oh, baby. Got another one. Another viewer in the bag. Alright. So place the nails here. I guess here. 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 Something like that, right? So you have nails that are arranged all over the place. Something like this, and we can also contain them inside of a node 2D, and we just call this nails. Yeah. Do you have experience with Godot for mobile? I actually do not. No. I think there's some tutorials for it, but I'm not much of a mobile kind of guy. From what I've read, it's a little painful since you need to still have Android Studio installed, I think. Probably shouldn't quote me on that. I mostly deploy for web, so HTML, 5 exports, and I also do just all of the desktop exports. So Windows, Linux, Mac, and then web. I don't really do mobile. However, if you upload to itch.io, let me see, where is it? If you upload to itch.io and make your game, well, this isn't a game, but this is another tool I wrote in Godot, which is a programming language. So if you make it mobile compatible, or no, if you just make it mobile compatible, so you have like touchscreen controls kind of built in, right? Then this thing will just play more or less automatically, which is nice. So like on Android, I can load this up, and as long as I can force my keyboard open, then I can actually use it, which is neat. So I think if you're coming for like mobile app development tips, I'm sorry, I don't really have any of those. The mobile development is a completely different beast. Ever heard of URAD? Ultra Rapid Application Development, where you develop a program for a client in 30 to 60 minutes. Is that similar to extreme programming with a capital X? I've learned about several programming processes when I was in school, because I'm not a computer. I didn't study computer science in university. I studied business. Well, business computer science. So it's like 3 programming courses: Intro to Java, SQL, and then web apps, Java web apps, and then everything else was management. So we learned all about like the various programming whatever. Is it similar to extreme programming? I haven't heard of URAD though, so I don't think I would ever want to do URAD, Ultra Rapid Application Development. Ultra Rapid Application Development. No, I think if your client is actually impressed by URAD, then you could probably sell them whatever you want. I think that's kind of my take on it, is that it's not really I don't think it's really a feasible thing. But if it's what you do, then I won't rail on it. I never met someone who pronounced sequel. I say it how it's spelt. Well, that's how we say it. That's how we say it in the biz, as they say, in the business. So most programmers I work with, which to be fair are like people in their 30s and 40s, they all say sequel. That's how you tell the difference between a self-taught person and Actually, not even a self-taught person, but just like someone who's been forced to work in the industry. Everyone calls it SQL. Unless you're a business person, then you say SQL. That's how you tell the product owner from the developer. And if your database administrator is saying SQL, then you should be very afraid. No, most people, at least in the US, we all say SQL. Unless you're a business person, then you say SQL. But you know, if you're a business person, then that's cool. That's cool. Is equal to. Please let me grab the hammer. From the US and not a business person. Well, then that's just very strange, isn't it? That's very strange. Do you work in the industry? do you get paid to be a programmer, I suppose is what I'm saying. So it's SQL and no SQL, right? Where you say, like, you could say SQL, that's 3 syllables, and then you had to say no SQL. Only 13, sir. Oh, there we go. Pro tip, you say SQL, and then people know, oh, this person knows what they're talking about. Yeah. That is crazy, though. I remember when I was 13. I make it sound like I'm really old, but like I'm only in my mid-20s. Everyone I work with is usually double my age. Like academically, I'm pretty young for my age. Wait, I make that same mistake every time. Academically, I'm very young since I have a summer birthday. Maybe they'd be a nice person not judging off by same language. That's not really how that works, unfortunately. Yeah, you gotta have a little bit of foresight on who you're interacting with. You know, because not everyone knows what they're doing, unfortunately. And so you need to steel yourself for how to, you know, do certain things. Right? It's all going back to, like, you know, you gotta play the game. If you want your game to be popular, you need to know how to play the marketing game. You know, if you make a good game, but you don't do any marketing, then no one's gonna play it. You make a bad game, but do a fantastic job marketing, then you're gonna have a few people play it at least. And it's the same way with pretty much everything in, like, at least the workforce. You know, you gotta learn the lingo. How do I get the mouse? About game development, is it common to do unit tests? It depends on what you're doing. I like to write unit tests, but I'm not really sure if they're really useful. I think if you're doing things like this program here has a few unit tests, because I do a lot of, like, marshalling and unmarshalling of data, because the face tracker is written in Python, so it needs to communicate over a UDP connection, aka basically there's 2 programs that need to talk to each other, and that's easy to unit test. But if you're unit testing something like, you know, character falls down, it's hard to unit test, you know. I never know what I'm doing, but here I am making a programming language. Well, that's the secret, is that no one knows what they're doing. It's just everyone is posturing. It's how you need to convince other people that you know what you're doing. Even if you don't. Never admit to not knowing what you're doing. Get global mouse position. Yeah. So this one's easy, right? We just do play. Ooh, God, I love this transition. Look at that. And then we'll just do click, click, click. Yeah. I got it. There we go. Howdy. How do you do? Wadi Saral. Wadi Saral. Missing an E there. That's okay. You're missing the E for excellence, but that's okay, because the excellence was inside you all along. It's all about manipulation is what I'm hearing. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's it, right? You know the highest paid people, and this is going to be kind of a rant, the highest paid people in in pretty much any software company, especially like mine. Like, I work for a big open source company. We sell free software, right? And you would think that the people doing the implementation would be paid the most. No, it's the sales guys get paid the most. And they sell them like, oh, we can do this in like X amount of weeks. We can do this in 1 week. And then it comes down to people like me. It's like, oh, this is going to take at least a month. At the very least. I don't know how you want me to do it in a week, but you know. Sales guy sells it. I have to implement because I'm a consultant. Watched Tale of Genji earlier in the day. Realized people even 100 years ago died by age 30. Using soap, penicillin, cooked food, and clean water were not available everywhere. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, soap and penicillin, probably not. Cooked food and, well, cooked food, yes. Clean water, debatably. But 100 years ago, actually 100 years ago, that's 1920, yeah. 1920s is still pretty messed up time. Alright, let's do... Yeah, we can just do it in process. This is easy, right? So if... okay, so... Reset the transform. I feel like... Well, 1921 is 100 years ago. Oh, is it? Yeah, that... Yeah, 1921. World War II, or First Great War. World War I over in 1918, 19? It's been a little while since I've taken world history. World War I was during the 1910s to ended by 1920, I know that. And then that's when soldiers came back, war industry was still booming, so times are good, and then blah blah blah. So yeah, not everywhere in the world, yeah. Japan was actually doing pretty well for itself. I'm assuming that's what Tale of Genji is about, since Genji is more or less a Japanese surname. So we need to rotate. Okay, so hammer does need to be its own scene. So say branch as scene. Let's call this hammer. Because hammer needs to... Well, it doesn't really need to be its own scene, but it helps. Alright, so hammer. What do we want to do with hammer? Hammer we want to have two states. So let's do hammer on click. So we do func unhandled input. Let's get a primary action. Genji's from the Dark Ages. Oh, Genji is from the Dark Ages. I don't know. What's the goal of the game? So the goal of the game is that you are... It's like... Are you familiar with the game WarioWare? WarioWare. It's a Nintendo game. It's a minigame collection. You do a lot of really easy tasks, but they come in really quick succession, so you have a time limit. And I'm mixing that with, I guess, gambling, basically. So you can play a slot machine, you can use a gacha machine. It's similar to how Super Smash Bros. Melee does. It's gambling if you played that game. Might have heard of it. A little known indie game, Super Smash Bros. Melee, with a slot machine. I think that was one of my favorite parts of that game, actually, when I was a kid. Use action. Pressed primary action, then do a thing. elif. Yeah, so also something to note is that unhandled input, this is actually an event stream. So it only fires when there is an input. And that input will always be, will more or less always be one input. seen the cover of it, but never played it. Reminds me of Mario Party though. It's not as in-depth as Mario Party, but it's more or less you're gambling, but of course gambling with money that you didn't earn isn't really all that fun. There's no risk to it. So this is how you would accrue cash in order to gamble inside of the game, right? Is, you know, you play some mini games, and then you do this stuff. And so now you have something to lose, and that way it's more fun, right? If I just made a game that's just about gambling, it wouldn't be all that fun, right? Because you got the money for free. It's just like playing poker. If you play poker, but you're not betting any money, or anything that's of any value, then it's not really all that fun, right? There's no risk, there's no danger. This way, there is a bit of danger, but I'm not accepting money for it. Probably gonna open source this game. So, you know, prepare your butts, etc., etc. So, if we rotate degrees, it's rotation, yeah, rotate 90. There we go. So, rotation degrees, well, it's pi over 2. Okay, yeah, rotation degrees, just 90. And then 0. There we go, so then we run. Fan updates. What is a fan updates? I don't understand. Oh, I love the spinning, dude. Boing boing. Oh, no. Please accept my input. Oh, is something eating my input? Ugh, I hate this. Okay. Because you're making it open source. Well, most of the things I make are open source, right? Like you can, let me peep my GitHub here. Like I just finished a game jam game. It's not very good, but that's why I'm remaking a bunch of my stuff though. There we go. And so you can find most of the stuff I write there. So like I have a GIF tool for Godot that automatically, or it captures a GIF of whatever's playing on screen and then outputs it, which is neat. My Lisp tool, I wrote a Pong clone using Godot plus Rust, the Rust programming language. Oh baby. OpenSea Face is what I'm using right now to track this duck. Was it for the GMTK game jam? No, it was for a month-long game jam that I joined halfway through. It was for the Dream Diary jam. It's for a game called Mirai Nikki, where you play as a small child who may or may not have a mental illness, and then yada yada yada. Yeah, so I'm not receiving any click input because, yeah, so it was unranked. I tried to, I think I had an entry in the last year's GMTK game jam, but that also wasn't very good. Yeah, it was Ultra Asteroid Shape. You can play this here. This one was a mix of asteroids and was it Super Crate Box, if you've ever played that game. Big fan. I think Super Crate Box is free on Steam. Made by Vlambear, excellent company. So we go. So my input is being eaten, which is, you know, really cool. Let's see, mouse, ignore. So play. Yeah, there we go. So we hammer, hammer. So you hammer, 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 hammer. Okay, there we go. Okay. And I think it makes more sense for me to also directly manipulate the Z index. as well. So if you press hammer, we do z index is equal to, let's see, higher indexes are drawn later. Yeah. Let's make it 100, easy. Just to make sure. Otherwise, we reset it back to 0. Instead of pressing the play button, you can just press F5 to play and pray. Yeah. I know you can. But I just like pressing the button. I like pressing the button. Because otherwise I need to move my hand off my wrist rest. Like I mostly have my arms are like anchored almost like above my elbow to my desk, so I can move them back and forth from my mouse to my keyboard. But if I want to press the F5 key, I need to move my arm. I don't have a wrist rest, just share arms. Yeah, I'm actually using a standing desk, but I'm like anchoring my arms on like the corner of my desk. So yeah, see, so look at this. Look at that. So it displays, actually displaying behind the nail is kind of jank, but that's fine. So you don't, I think this makes more sense, right? So if I display the hammer in front of the nails, then you would potentially not see them. But then when you click it, you hammer on top of it. Boom, boom. So hammer, 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 hammer. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. So we'll go into each nail. Right. And let's see. We can do collision detection, right? So each area 2D can listen for collision. So we'll do, and then also remember that once we finish this first implementation, pretty much everything else is pretty easy. So we'll do onReady var area 2D. And don't worry, I know it's redundant, but it just helps me since I'm mostly like a Java developer, so I prefer to have types on everything. Kind of bothers me when things don't have types. Which is, I suppose, a little ironic since I at work I write Groovy, which is a Java-based, a JVM-based language that doesn't require types. I write Python 2.7 because the client is still using Python 2 on all their servers. I write Go, and Go doesn't actually require explicit types either, which bothers me. But because it messes with how how code looks, right? Like when you look at a bunch of code like this or whatever, I don't really look at it that hard. Right. If I see that it has the types, I just kind of skim over it. So this is our area 2D. Then we should do area 2D connect. I think it's just mouse clicked, right? Or mouse entered. Mouse entered. Self. Mouse entered. And then we'll do the same thing in the other way. Mouse entered, mouse exited. Mouse exited. What's your opinion on MATLAB, Stinky? But that's mostly because MATLAB is 0. It starts indexing arrays at 1, not 0. I think MATLAB it's not bad, right? It's meant for more scientific computing, so it has its own niche. I have noticed that a lot of scientific computing languages, like I learned R in school, and R also does indexing at 1. Yeah, so it's supposed to be 0, yeah. Well, it's because it's, scientific computing. It's not actually meant for you to write a real application in. Shots fired, bang bang. But right, it's because, it's scientific. You start counting at 1, it just makes more sense, more or less, right? So that's fine, You do you. I'm not a scientist. I'm a business person that just happens to be able to speak intelligently about programming. Where is it? Ooh. I think my eyes just broke. Why can't I read this? Alright, input, mouse entered, mouse exited. Okay, there we go. That's what we want. Send me back to nail. So mouse entered and then funk on mouse exited. I'm a 13-year-old who happens to have an interest in feeling better than everyone. Join the club, buddy. That's how we all were. Well, most of us anyways. I think I used to be like that as well. And then you, I guess, realize that, you know, the world is a big, big place. It's better to be good at, it's better to be good at something but don't advertise it. That's how I kind of feel about it nowadays. The first index out of bounds exception you never forget. You know what? When I was writing a lot of R, because at the same time I was also writing, I think I was taking a web apps course, yeah. At the same time I was taking I was doing like a data science elective when I was still in school. And so, you know, Java starts indexing at 0, R starts indexing at 1, which is absolutely losing my mind for like a week. Because I indexed everything at 0, and then most of those languages, they actually allow you to index at 0. Start indexing at 0. It's just that 0 is just the default value for most libraries. So my code was just never working. So it was the first index out of bounds exception, then the second, third, fourth, fifth. It didn't occur to me that, oh yeah, I'm writing in R, not Java. Can hammer some sort of bool is equal to false. So on mouse entered. Oh, and you know what? It should just pull for your mouse as well. I love programming. I've never wrote R. I kind of want to see what it can do. You shouldn't learn R. Everyone's already moved on to Python. Yeah, I learned the wrong language when I was still in school. I think there are people who, or there are, you know, parts of the business and whatever that still use R, but that's mostly like for, I don't know, like if you are like a pure data person, like if you only work with data, and there are people like that, right? Like data engineering is like a real field, but it's pretty specialized at this point, in my opinion. Actually, I work with mobile development. I'm so sorry. No, I know mobile is a big market, but I'm more of a, I work in middleware integration and DevOps, so I don't really touch devices at all, at least professionally. So I would like to get into mobile development, which is why I like Godot, is that it just has more or less built-in mobile supports. Isn't there a way you can do? You can. Yeah, you can, well, you can force an update, but not that force. You want to do, there's a way. I've done this before. You can force an update. No, maybe not. No, you don't want to call update though. Yeah, no, I don't. Mobile stuff, actually my company used to do some mobile development, but I think we've moved, we've done has moved on to like progressive web apps, because we're more into the software as infrastructure, or infrastructure as code service or containers and stuff. So I mostly work with, if you're familiar with Ansible and OpenShift, I work with that technology along with Jenkins, and I have to learn Terraform now. Terraform and Tekton. So Tekton is like the better Jenkins. Terraform is like the better Ansible. all that good stuff. By the way, if you're wondering what the little graphic in the bottom left-hand corner is, there's only 2 functions implemented right now, which is view stats and attack. So it's not really a complete game, but it is a game that I've implemented in Godot and hooks into the Twitch API. So it could be like a real game at some point, if I ever decide to like really get into it. But, you know, have other stuff to do. So we have these 2 things, and then we can listen for... Actually, yeah. So Hammer shouldn't be doing... yeah, actually, this is fine. Hammer can do this with unhandled input, and this is going to be some sort of input event. Yeah, I'm actually using a different keyboard. I mentioned this before, but this keyboard is... It's a new one. It's styled like an old-fashioned ThinkPad keyboard. And it even has the little trackpad nub that ThinkPads have, but it has Cherry MX Green switches attached to it. How fancy. And ThinkPad nub. Yeah. The way I type is very strange though, so I'm trying to relearn how to type so I can actually use this keyboard. Because I used to use an ortholinear layout keyboard where your keys are not offset. I got my second shot yesterday, so it's a new. Worried my 17-year-old crush from the Netherlands. Joking, by the way. About the crush or the shot? Or about the sleeping? You know, when I got my second dose, I was fine most of the day, but then I woke up the next day. Well, I woke up the next day at like 5 a.m. and just could not stop shaking because I had like a really, really high fever, and I was. It's like I actually had to find a sweatshirt and put it on. Like I had to bundle up and just kind of sat there shivering for an hour. Interesting, since you make music and this is your music playing in the background, maybe there's a website called Metapop that holds music competitions if you're interested. Metapop. Metapop used Harden. Reconnect music makers. Let's see. What's this about? Free unlimited track uploads, huh? I like that. I would need to look at their terms of service though. That's interesting. I'm not really interested in doing music competitions, but it does seem interesting. It does seem interesting. Crush. Oof, oof, oof. Yeah, I have a crush. You don't know her. She goes to a different school. She goes to a school in Canada. Yeah, I feel you, man. For me, it hurts to laugh, cough, and move my arms. It hurts in the shoulder area. Yeah, I feel you. That's the experience for a lot of people. You know, I was talking to some people though, and I was reading some stuff. I'm not sure if this is true. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. Since I don't know if it's true, I shouldn't actually talk about it. Also, rap chat. I'm not much of a rapper. I understand the musicality behind rap. You know, I come from a city that's known for rap. Not quite East Coast, West Coast rap, but it's like the new style stuff. So if you know rap, then you know which city I'm talking about, I suppose. Yeah, rap is less about the lyrics, and it's more about like the percussiveness of the words. Let's see, primary action, and then if can hammer. Oh, if. Let's see, if can hammer and So we wrap everything in, oh jeez. Wrap everything here, then we'll do, we'll grab the sprites actually, so, on ready var sprite is equal to sprite, oh baby. I read that as a bad word. Bad word, chat for some reason. Don't know why I shared this, it's not too late, so that's well, you know what's also kind of a weird word, now that we're talking about weird combinations of words? You know that rapeseed is an actual plant, or it's an actual seed. And it just kind of kept its original name, but the connotation is a little different now. So I know which word you're talking about, good sir. So is hammered. Okay, yeah. So we can do var is hammered pool equals false. I guess we can do remaining hammers, right? So var remaining hammers, some sort of int, and we'll have it'll be like a two-step hammer. So if can hammer and action event is action pressed, blah blah blah, and if remaining hammers is equal to or is greater than 0. Oh. Hold on, gotta search this up. It's true. I know things. I like to think I'd be pretty okay at a trivia show. As long as a trivia show is not asking me about song lyrics or like films, which is, you know, to be fair, a pretty big part of trivia. I can do pretty well. I have a lot of random knowledge about stuff. But as long as it's not like film stuff. So this is the biggest one. If remaining hammers is greater than 0, then if can hammer blah blah blah, then match remaining. No, we'll do remaining hammers minus equals 1, and then we'll match the remaining hammers. And then if it's 1, then we'll do self dot global position dot y minus equals, I don't know, like 10 or something. We'll just hard code it for now. We can pull it out later, and then we'll do this one is self dot, oh no, it'll be sprite dot animation, is it called sprite dot frame equal to 1. I listen to depressing songs. I haven't seen a movie since Avengers Endgame. I actually have not seen Avengers Endgame, so I'm also the wrong person to ask about that kind of stuff. Not really into Marvel movies, TBH. The depressing songs, you mean like what was the trend last year? It was sad boy, yeah, sad boy trap. I actually kind of like sad boy hip hop, that kind of stuff. It's very reminiscent of the music I grew up with, which is early 2000s. You have, well, Nirvana was already gone by then, but then you had Linkin Park and etc. Sad boy hip hop or sad boy trap is more of a genre, so I think it's close to mumble rap, not really. Sad boy prolific, not familiar, but there's like, isn't Ginseng is known for it. I don't know. Shinigami. I'm trying to think. I don't really know. All right, so let's try it out. I have no idea if this will work. I love the transition. Anyway, no? No? Am I not doing it right? So nail, I don't know where all the nails are. Which nail is this? Oh, can't move it like that. Which nail are you? Okay, you're this nail. Up. Let's see, remaining hits, can hammer. So it's not detecting my mouse input. Shinigami is a good beat maker. Oh baby. Match is like switch case? Yeah. Match is like a better switch case. So switch case in Java only allows you to really go off of well, switch case has different implications, right? So switch case is more just like you are matching on more or less integer values or enum values, while match, the implication of that is that you can do matching off of expressions. So you can do, you can have just an integer, you can have like 1, 2, 3, something like that. Or actually, no, you can't do that, but you can do I don't know. I need to look up the documentation. I really only do it to match off of multiple values. I think you can do it based on variables, maybe? Not really sure. Don't remember. I'm the wrong person to ask about programming language complexities. I mean, like the programming language I wrote it's very straightforward, I suppose. Besides the fact that it has macros and goto. So if can hammer an event is action pressed, remaining hammers is greater than 0. Oh, it's because it's eating my action. So how do I set this as not handled? Handled. No. So when I catch it here, it actually okay, so yeah, I mean, this is easy picks. Let's do func process. It's not how you spell process. Oh my god, I'm losing the ability to type. Yeah, but check it out. I know what the kids are listening to nowadays. I'm still hip, I'm still with it. As they say, I'm pretty, you know, salutations, fellow kids, etc., etc. Alright, so this is easy. We just move all this stuff over here, and then elif input is action. Just released, same thing. I tried to swallow my spit at the same time as I was breathing in, which is what that noise was just now. I'm not dying. I'm just you know, losing it, etc., etc. Yeah, so this should still work the same way. I love the transition. Boom, boom, boom. No? Huh. Am I dumb? So this should change to can hammer, no? Maybe the Z layer or the collision should be the same. You don't need to do that sort of stuff for this. So the layer doesn't matter here because all I'm doing is, oh wait a minute. Yeah. This is pickable, yeah. So all I'm doing is just listening for mouse input. So if your mouse enters this area, then it's hammerable. However, it's not picking it up because I've done this before. So the hammer has nothing to do with it. The hammer is just a graphic. It's just a graphic that just follows your mouse. All the logic is actually stored on the nail. So let's see. Pickable. Detect the mouse pointer. Reports input. Collision layer is set. Yep, at least one. There we go. So we connect these two. Can hammer. Remaining hammers. Let me think. So here's something that we can do. This occasionally has screwed me before. So we just do this. So we change the layer that... Oh, you know what? Oh, no, never mind. That wasn't it. That wasn't it at all. This one just needs to change, so we do... You don't need to put self, but I like to put self. Okay, so... Yeah, this should be fine. Right, so we do spinny, spinny, spin. Should have different transition screens. And then we can take a look here, and then we should be able to look at the nail. So the first nail here is this one in the bottom left, right? So we go back to the remote, we look at the bottom right one. It doesn't need to be on the same Z layer because I'm not actually using any collision from the hammer. The collision is just you clicking on it, right? Because it's supposed to be like a really simple game. Can hammer? No. Input pickable? Yes. Monitoring monitorable? Yes. Okay. So let's do the most basic thing possible. We can just print hello. That's pretty easy. What's just a guess? Yeah, you know, it's a very reasonable guess, you know. I'm trying to keep the dialogue going, you know. You gotta overanalyze everything when you're in this line of business. I wonder, we can turn on debug, visible collision shapes, and then we can actually take a look at what's each shape is, so then we just need to hope that we're inside of the correct collision shape. Or we don't need to hope anymore, we can just check. Yeah, so these are the collision shapes. I wonder if something is still intercepting my mouse clicks, or just my mouse in general. So I'm just gonna look at this. This is actually a live feed. So can hammer should be changing, and we're also not getting any print statements because I took that out. So, you know what? Let's just do this like this. Unhandled input, goodbye. We're not replacing it with process, since we're not actually doing any physics processing. So we might as well just try to run as fast as possible. And input is action just pressed. This doesn't really have any effect on it, but you know, let me think. So this is the collision, this is the pickable. Z index doesn't matter. And we look at the area 2D, monitorable methods, pickable should be on the parent class, yeah. Right? No? Yeah, input pickable, true. Let's think. So what could be causing this to happen? And what's an easy solution for us? Just in case this is not good enough. So we can do something else really jank and just add a collision shape. So instead of just doing mouse shapes, we can just do these things instead. Or not mouse shapes, but mouse collision, we can just do regular collision. And then this will just follow your mouse anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We'll call it 50, why not? Yeah, that's good enough, I think. Right. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It probably has something to do with my weird kind of super layered viewport within a viewport's implementation, so that's fine. Then I use my vacation for learning Godot. I joined this live for improves my English, and now I go back for both. Oh baby. Thanks for the follow, Mardoc Q, I think. Is that French? I'm not really sure. I think French is one of the only languages I don't really know how to pronounce. Like I used to be fluent in, or not fluent, I used to be literate. I could read Spanish pretty well. Like, so I could read a Spanish newspaper and read like the culture columns or just like the regular news articles. I couldn't read anything about economics in Spanish or politics in Spanish, but you know, who needs those? All right, so we can do, in addition to these, self.connect. And then I'm also learning, or I'm also teaching myself Mandarin Chinese. Wait a minute. Oh, this is a node. Hold on. Yeah. So my parents spoke a combination of Cantonese, which is the southern dialect that most people are familiar with, actually. Or it's the dialect that you hear in movies. Mandarin, and then English. So my Chinese is very, very bad. Just Mordecai. Very good. Actually, wait a minute. Was this the only problem? This might just work now. Oh yeah. More or less taught myself how to read Chinese, so I can read it at almost a second or third grade level. And then like also at the same time I taught myself how to read Japanese, since I was watching a show and I was like, wait a minute, I can read that. Oh, turns out Japanese just kanji is just actually just Chinese characters in the same format, just older. And actually, I feel like Japanese grammar is a little simpler because it's just more structured than Chinese. And by Chinese, I mean Mandarin Chinese. So that might be heresy. What I can tell you, though, is that people who say that Chinese grammar is easy are actually liars. Chinese grammar it's a lot of idioms. It's a lot of idioms. Which is basically like sayings that don't really make any sense by themselves, but make sense if you know like the context and the history behind it. I'm gonna go for a little bit, see ya. Take it easy, Hypno7. Hypno. Thanks for tuning in. Jump in to the Discord if you want, or I field questions about game development, or just want to hang out. Follow me on Twitter. Give my stuff stars on GitHub, etc., etc. On area, it's not spell entered. Body node. My typing speed has taken such a hit using this keyboard. I swear I'm usually faster than this. I'm studying English mainly because I need my job. I work for a company with international projects. That's fair. That's fair. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, your English is pretty good right now from what I can tell, you know? Don't know about spoken, but at least written, it's very readable. Very readable. So, better than most people. Better than some native speakers for sure. My listening is bad? I feel you, man. I feel you. My listening for other languages is also pretty bad. So, and English is a hard language. I get that. Now you have all the tenses. You have present, present continuous, past, past continuous, future, future continuous, future perfect, and all the things that you normal English speakers don't need to listen for. Alright, so I'm just doing this as kind of a debug thing. You probably should never actually do this, but we're doing it. So I'm just trying to get this to work because I'm not really sure what the problem is. I've used this pattern before where you just listen for the mouse being on top of an area. I live in Brazil, so I think Portuguese is more hard. Portuguese. That is really weird, huh? So there is an area now. So this is an area. They should be colliding, but they're not. Now, what could it be? What could it be? Because these do have the same area. Or they don't have the same area, but they are listening for the same collision layer. Right, so they exist on a layer, but then they listen for a different layer. So I did area entered. Oh, let's do something like this. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay, so it is working. Nice. Okay, so let's just do this, since they shouldn't be intersecting with each other anyways, so that's fine. Yeah, that's weird though how the mouse trick didn't work. The mouse trick should have worked. Oh. So they're also going in the opposite direction that they should be. So let's see, Z index, no, not this one. Nail, it's +10 actually, because it goes in top left drawing order. Do you need, oh my god, that's it. That's it. I do need to turn that on. Oh, I can't believe I forgot about that. I think I handle input locally, isn't it? Which one is it? Object picking. I'm gonna be very disappointed in myself if that was actually the answer. Jacqueline on a cloud. Yeah, Jacqueline on a cloud. I swear I know what I'm doing. I wrote this face tracker. Sometimes we just have a brain. Oh my god, it knows that. It knows that. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah, plus 2 points to Jacqueline on a cloud. That was. I can't believe it was something as simple as that. As soon as you said it, I was like, wait a minute. Makes total sense. But yeah, now we can simplify a bunch of things, and then we can move on with our life. Oh, don't do that. Do this one. Yeah, so now we just need to do this stuff. So the physics body thing definitely worked. I wonder how many other projects where this has bitten me on. Where I just had not considered that. Because I like using this this pattern. Right, because this pattern is really nice, right? Because since we're rendering the in-game stuff on a viewport inside of a viewport, right? Right, we can downscale the graphics if I want, but then that would also downscale the GUI, right? But having the viewport inside of a viewport, I can have a GUI be at regular scale and then have the graphics be slightly downscaled. So that would look something like this. We can just grab the viewports, parents, viewport. Well, let's do something you shouldn't do and just do get parent, get parent. By the way, if you're new here, you can find this this face tracker I'm using for the duck. I wrote this in Godot. You can find it on my GitHub, available under MIT license. Isn't stretch is... Oh, stretch shrink. That's what we want. So we want to stretch shrink by... Let me see. I'm getting a little self-conscious since it was such an easy, such an easy fix. I'm not trying to justify myself. Please no judge. This happens all the time. Oh, okay, well. I forgot that this happens. Well, we'll also need to consider that in the future as well, but let's not do that. Anyways, we'll play the game, and then once you do all of that, I'll have some sort of handler. We'll probably put it inside of the game manager. Save data util. Script cannot be fully loaded. That's fine. Do this. Save. Go back. Godot is not a fan of custom classes. There we go. So save data util not currently used, but we can, right now, we can just hold your current save data here. So this is, oh yeah, there we go, your current save data. There we go. Some sort of dictionary. Generally, I would load this in immediately, but we're not gonna do that right now. Currently unused. Let's just have one to do. Testing only. And as in any good code base, the testing only variable just stays there until production. Yeah, I'm gonna allow custom classes at this point. I just use the path for extensions. It's not worth the pain for me. Yeah, you know, actually, when working on this tool here, I'm actually starting to run into the point where I have so many custom classes that sometimes like the engine will just, or the editor will just completely break. So I've actually been working on like ripping out custom classes, unfortunately. Just gotta wait for Godot 4, which should have better support for custom classes. I have actually ported one of my code bases to Godot 4, which is neat. This one here, if you are interested, GD Lisp, which has a Godot 4 branch. If you want to take a look at, it's more or less completely ported. You can kind of see here macros are still broken. So it's a Lisp style language written in 3.2, but then I ported to 4.0 with only like 20 something crashes. So I can tell you firsthand, GD script 2.0, pretty sick. Bye, see you. Thanks for hanging out, Mordecai. Thanks for tuning in. Peep the socials if you want to stay connected, blah, blah, blah. Give me stars on GitHub. The only thing I ask. That's why I started streaming. Is because when I was interviewing for jobs and whatever, they would all look at my GitHub stuff. And they would always ask me, like, why don't you have any stars on any of your repositories? I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that stars were the end game for recruiters. Like, I just like to make things, I don't like to advertise. So I figured streaming would be like an easy way of just very slowly drawing people in to give me stars. Anyways, this is your points. Once all the nails are nailed in, hammer in the nail, that's the mini game. So we can pull for all the nails. So we'll do on ready bar nails, no 2D nails. And then, or what we could do is have each nail just emit a signal. That might be easier as well. Yeah, that would actually be way easier. What am I doing? I was going to do a for loop and just loop through each one and just check to see, you know, remaining hammers is equal to 0. And then the screen is over once they're all 0, but... Or I guess we can, hammered in. It doesn't really fit the signal syntax or the signal naming convention, which is supposed to be past tense. But, you know, this one's past tense. In doesn't really have a past tense. Yeah, so then we'll do for C in. I'm on the wrong thing. C in nails. Yeah, so if you are new to the stream, the game that I'm making is I guess a WarioWare-like game mixed with gambling. So the idea is that, you know, just a regular gambling game, which is kind of what I actually wanted to make. Those aren't fun by themselves. So, mixing gambling with WarioWare, so like you accrue points or whatever to spend on the gambling, so then you have something to lose. Which makes the gambling have more impact. So that's the idea. So, WarioWare style mini games. Hello, Hypno7. Welcome back. Glad to see you didn't get lost. I think that's actually something I have a really bad habit of saying. It's like when people are like, I gotta go to the restroom, and be like, alright, don't get lost. I don't know why. I know that some people have gotten angry at me before. It's like, stop saying the same joke. I'm like, I'm sorry. You gotta be a big spender to play the cool mini games. Exactly, you know? You play the mini games, you know, you can unlock more types of gambling stuff, right? So like Super Smash Bros. Melee, that gambling slot machine, aka the gacha machine. Big fan of that one. Then we can have like, you can unlock, you know, pachinko or whatever. Pachinko slot machine. Maybe a crane game. Actually, a crane game would be a nice like mini game to spend your points on. So it's basically like an arcade at some point, right? On hammered in. That's not how you do it. Connecting. Ugh, keyboard. But yeah, that's the idea. Probably we'll be placing this on GitHub. Yeah, I could create something today. Why not? Most of my stuff I release as open source, mostly because like I don't. I think like if you're not going to release it for money and you're not doing anything like super novel, you might as well release it as open source. And also like I am just showing it off completely. you know. And the implementation is kind of whack as well. So let's see, on hammered in, we have two things, var total nails, completed. So these are ints. This one will be 0. This one is some sort of int. And then we do total nails plus equals 1. Open source hype. Well, yeah, you know, most things I write are open source. So most things I write are open source, even this acronym. Yeah, like the stream tool, open source. Lets you do things like this. So if you're interested in, you know, if you stream and you're looking for a stream tool that is more functional than just like a little counter, the source is available on my GitHub as friendly potato stream. All right, you know what? We can hydrate. Look at this. Don't want you to die. Okay, let's drink 200 milliliters of water. Or in freedom units, that would be, what's 32? Difference between 32 and 24, 8. I'm very bad at math. Doesn't really have the same impact since I'm using like a VTuber, whatever. It's not really even a VTuber. This is just like a 3D model. My medicine uses milliliters, so IDK, IDEC. There we go. So total nails completed. Plus equals 1, easy. I don't even know. Is that what the kids are saying nowadays? Oh no. Am I out of touch? No. Yeah, okay. So total nails completed. If total nails completed. Apologize for making that sound into the mic. Is equal to total nails. And I believe I can just do I have a minigame manager, so we can just do load next minigame, right? And then we can also, yeah. Gambling host screen, yeah, okay, so we can do this. We use the same kind of stuff. So I think this pattern is actually pretty good, if I do say so myself. So we do minigame manager. Just out of curiosity, do you have a naming convention for private methods? I see you have that sweet banner. Which banner? Where? Donde? That sweet banner. I'm not sure which banner you're talking about. I do have a naming convention for private methods though, for sure. And that naming convention is... Hold on. I need to do a little bit of thinking really quick. Your sweet code comment banner. Oh, these things, yeah. So yeah, I actually have a template that I use. I can post it onto like a pastebin if you want, or I can drop it into my Discord if you want to join that. But it's my naming convention is as follows. Looks like this. So pretty much everything, built-in functions, those are private. Connections, those are private. Private functions, definitely public. No, private functions are private. And then public functions, no underscore at the very top. Or at the very beginning. And then I usually try to follow the same naming convention for variables as well, but sometimes I don't. So, you know, it's very Java or C# style, public or private. But of course, in Python, there's no such thing as public or private. There's no concept of that. So the naming convention is just to like remind myself, like, oh, I don't expect to use this anywhere else. And also for all connections, I try to use on as the first word. And then pretty much in private, I never use on as the first word. So it's all things just to kind of facilitate development, so it's a bit easier. I used to not actually use these big headers here, but then at work started to write a lot more Go. Golang is closer to more like C in terms of file sizes. So you just have big mega files. Oh. But kind of how it changed. Also, why isn't this working? So we should have loaded the next minigame. Total nails. Oh, this probably broke. So we can turn off the visible collision shapes as well. So thanks for the info. Yeah, I was a little bummed that signals tend to hook to the underscore since that's what I'm used to using for private stuff. Well, you need to like what other name identifier could you use? Like you can't use a dash or the minus. And then using a dash at the very end is a bit weird, but technically that's valid. So, I mean, this is the easiest one for me. There's about the same number of underscores, but then I just have on for everything, Bum 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 bum. Load me. Load me. Where are we? Hold on. Hammer in the nail. Double nails completed. Oh, it's because I'm not emitting the signal. Haha. Emit signal. Absolute genius. Alright. So then we'll load in. I forget how many things there are, but the transition is still my favorite part. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, okay. Then it just sends me back. Very nice. Very cool. How many things are in here? Shouldn't this... Oh, it just duplicates it. Very good. So we put in 2. This should work. And then... Oh, hold on. Oh, you can't have the same thing. That makes sense. Yeah, so this is just the test, the gambling portion, right? So we'll have the same game. This is easy. Oh, baby. Probably should have like a better transition as opposed to just like the spinny Microsoft PowerPoint. And then this is the main gambling screen, and then you'll have several options to choose from. So we'll go back to here. Actually, hammer in the nail. If this is equal to this, then we can do game manager, I don't know, points, game manager, player data, I think it was points. Let's just plus equal 1 for now, and hit it with its do. Change this. But yeah, so you accrue points, and we can display your points on this screen. So, let's see. I think the biggest mistake I made when I was learning how to do a lot of the UI stuff was that I was more thinking about it in terms of like HTML formatting, where you have, the big body that contains everything, but actually, that's not how you should think about it at all. It should be more. Imagine the HTML body is just somewhere else. It's the layer above you, and then you're just formatting everything under that. So instead of having the big mega container, you have a lot of smaller containers. Oh, and since I think my audience is a bit different this time, check it out. Oh, actually the song is almost over, never mind. But the song that I was just playing was written in 5/4 time because I'm a big dummy. I thought I was writing it in 6/8 time, but then once I recorded the initial whatever and started, you know, piecing it all together in FL Studio, I realized, like, wait a minute. This doesn't match up at all. Oh, wait. This isn't 6/8, this is 5/4. How did this even happen? Alright, so this is like player info, right? And then let's just give it full rect and then we'll tweak it a little bit. So where should player info be? Player info should be top left because people like to start reading from the top left. Give it a 0.25. Something like this. 0.3. And then we can squish this one a bit more as well. So this one can be like a 0.85. Yeah, there we go. Maybe move it to a 0.8. There we go. Player info. So that needs to be one of these. Give it a margin. I always thought it's kind of weird though, right? So the way I like to do these things is you double stack the margin container. So you have the outer margins, which are like the margins on the outside. And then you have the inner margin container, which uses one of these to then space it again. And then it makes more sense once I do this, right? So this one is actually anchored to the top left, has a margin, and then you have this color rect be your background color. Something like this. I'm gonna keep it inconsistent for now, just so I hate my life later. You know what? Let's not do this. Make it 69. Nice. And then this one, we'll set as 10, 10, 10, 10. So then these are now our inner margins. And then we can stick a VBox container in there, add some labels, and then call it a day. We're not actually gonna call it a day, but. And this is how you get nicely formatted control elements in Godot that contain text. It's kind of weird though. I'm surprised, like I don't think the online tutorial really covers this all that well. Let's see, we'll just call this the player statistics. There we go. Statistics. You could make that a panel container too and add constant margin and background color. Oh really? Is that how panel containers work? Let's try it. Panel container. Ew. Oh, you mean like I had to set my own style, right? Or at least mess with the theme. Custom styles, you can set a panel style. Oh yeah, that's why I don't like using this. Let's see. Flat. And then you can mess with this. Oh, okay, okay. Interesting. And then where's the inner radius then? Expand margin? No. And you can't go negative. Okay, good to know. Border width? Probably not. Constant margin will give you your padding. Constant margin, padding margin. Am I missing it? Oh, it's right here, yeah. Menu blind. Oh, what do you know? You learn more things every day. Interesting. So then if I just move this over here, this will also... Oh, interesting. What do you know? Oh, and I moved over the margin container as well. That's neat. Where were you when I was struggling with GUI nodes all this time? Okay, well, I should probably go back and then change this one as well, since I used the same pattern here, more or less. This makes sense. And then also, yeah, since it's using a style box, you can also do corner radiuses. I've done these before, somewhat. So you can round them off, kinda. But then they have this kind of... Oh, yeah, no. VBox and A-box, H-box, and panel container all day, every day. Ugh. Well, I think if you were to take a look at the the code used for the GUI used here, you'd be very disappointed, because guess what? They all use the same pattern that I just used here, so that it's double. These all use double margin containers plus a color rect, but I think that does make more sense, right? That does make more sense, what you described. It's using a panel container. If you use absolute positioned, I'm going to cry. I don't think they're absolute positioned. I mean, they are anchored, but I don't think they're absolute positioned, if that's what you're referring to. I don't know what I'm doing. That's probably the... That's my excuse, is I don't really know what I'm doing. I know how to do things roughly, and then I just make it happen. Like, for example, I don't know if this is a good pattern to you, but I'm doing it anyways. So I know that you could do just a regular label and do a bit of string formatting in order to update these, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to do this. We have our name, and then we do size flags, expand. I feel like whenever I talk to other people who use Godot, they're always appalled by how I use control nodes. But it's like I did the tutorial, and the tutorial didn't have what I needed. Yeah, so this is like some sort of value. Change me. Name container. And then we'll have like a points container. Set a custom constant. Make this 10, since that's usually what I use for everything. So everything's spaced out about the same. Corner radius. Control nodes are the hardest thing to learn for me. I learned most of it by trial and error, since yeah, tutorials are lacking. Yeah, I think like the tutorial really teaches you how to like position graphics, which is nice, but it like when it's I think that's about it that I learned from it. I was like, okay, this is how you anchor things. Neat. Or this is how you use VBox and H-box containers. Neat. Yeah, so there's a name container, then we'll have a I don't know, just points container. I'm not sure what else you would need here. Oh, there we go. Doesn't look too bad. Should display a bit better. Yeah. I think if you hadn't come along and told me that, I would have I would have kept using my same pattern of margin container instead of margin container for a while. Until maybe I actually decided to experiment with panel containers again. Minigame is unlocked stat maybe? Oh baby. I like it. Well, I feel like, yeah. It doesn't have to be out of another number. It can just be like total minigames. Minigames unlocked container. As you can tell, I'm a Java dev since I like my long names. So, okay. So we go back to this screen, and then this screen needs to pull data from Game Manager. Game Manager has the player data. Player data contains this stuff. I'm not really sure how it's gonna look yet, but this is probably what it's gonna look like. Minigames unlocked. 0. Yeah, your naming convention is very similar to mine. Yeah. Well, it's self-documenting code. That's what I let's go with that. I don't think that's actually what self-documenting code is, but that's my excuse. Just make the name really long and hopefully it documents itself. And if your name is too specific, then your function was probably too specific. So that's kind of where I draw the line. So let's see. Play games. Then we need to. We have Game Manager. I don't really know what I'm doing at this point, so let's just type and then hope I figure it out. Okay, so I have this. Then I need to do. That's our Play Games button. Let's group them all together. So onReady var. Name label, some sort of label. Let's hit it with a find node. I mean, this is pretty slow, but that's fine. Oh, that's actually not gonna work. Never mind. Haha. So let's see. Where is it? Node path. Control Shift C. Professionally, I do a lot of Linux work, so I dislike pressing Control Shift C sometimes. I don't know why actually, because I should be more adverse to pressing actually, wait. I should be more averse to pressing Control C, but what can you do? Points label. So only one of these labels changes, which is the value label every single time. Did I grab the points label? I did not. Here we go. It's onReady var, and then mini games unlocked. Okay. And I do know that you don't need to add in the static typing every single time. I just like to do that. It makes it easier for me to glance over it. Also, fun pattern I saw to follow that might be helpful. I'm all ears. Export var. Name label. Path. Node path. onReady var. Name label. So it makes it, it just makes it editable from like this screen. That's basically what you're doing, right? So instead of having to go into the scripts code every single time, you can just do, you know, Control C, Control Shift C, then Control V over here. If you change the order of your elements, you don't need to change the code. Well, if you change the inheritance hierarchy, you'll still need to change the variable, the export var, right? Because the node path is still a direct path, right? It's still an absolute path, is it not? Genuine question. I know I tend to speak like I know what I'm talking about, but that's just I think that's just how I speak, is which does allow me to be very good at my job, but does make me come off as kind of being arrogant. As I'm not being arrogant. That's just my regular tone of voice. Nope, it connects to the reference, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's try it. that is true, then that is super good info. Super good intel, as they say. Export var name. Enable path, some sort of node path. Go to here. And then we do this. Oh, what do you know? That's really sick. And I'm assuming if I just move it, it'll just work. Right? Oh my god, that's amazing. That's amazing. Oh. That's way easier than doing this. Hold on. It needs to be get node. Please. Right, and then this should just work. I mean, there's no name label, so it'll just be change me anyways, but yeah. I mean, it didn't break. Amazing. No, that is super sick. That is sick. What I used to do in order to get around the hierarchy changing problem is I would just use find node instead at the very start. But you know what? That makes so much more sense. I should be taking lessons from you. So we just hook all of these up, do it all via the editor, since the editor handles all the kind of changing names for me, which is nice. And then, yeah, there we go. Get node, minigames, unlocked, label. I saw this in a GD Quest tutorial, I think. Man, it was very smart. I was blown away too. Yeah. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Oh. Label, oh, label path. Right. Okay, and then we can do... What do we want to do? We want to do... You don't really have a name, but we can just assign you a name just really quick. Yeah, we can call it name. Why not? We'll call him Team You Win. That's me. Just so I don't get confused as to whose save file this is. I have been known to just forget who I am sometimes. Yeah, GD Quest. Pretty cool guy. Pretty cool guy. I've looked at some of their... I'm not really into video tutorials. I wish they did more write-ups. And maybe they do write-ups, but... I mostly just look at their repositories on GitHub. So I think for the first game I ever streamed like development on, it was like I was using some of their RTS code. And then decided I didn't want to use it anymore. So then name label dot text is equal to this thing dot name. Probably should do this just in case we don't like shadow it for some reason. And then points label dot text is equal to same thing, player data. Yeah, why not? Let's just keep it consistent. I know that you can access it via dot notation, but we're committed now. Player data, mini games unlocked. There we go. So we can try it out, run it really quickly, play the game. Is there no points? Did I not call it points? No, I did. Invalid set index text on null instance. Oh, right, because I didn't set it yet. This makes sense. So we assign these. This is value label, value label, value label. Neat. And so this should work, probably. Right? Ah. Invalid set index. Oh, right. One more thing. Remember to string all your non-string variables. Easy. Like, I love this transition though. And then hammer it really quick. Should have another one. Boom, 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 boom. And there we go. We have 2 points. Minigames unlocked. I'll have to have another manager, I suppose, or I'll need to update the manager. So there'll be like 2 data sources that we pull from. Let's see. Oh, geez. It is 12 a.m. for me, or 0000. 0000? Is that how they say it? So, I gotta go. I'm a working man. So let's just push this to Git. Why not? Don't really anticipate ever selling this, but I do want to keep working on it, so let's see. We'll call this... What's a good name for this? I don't want to call it WarioWare Godot, because that's 100% just asking for trouble. This is Godot. What's the vibe you get from this? From the first one. Or from the idea, right? So it's a gambling game, but it's like WarioWare based. Gambling, Godot. No. Godot gambling games. No. Godot. Good gambling. Godot. Greedy gotcha. Godot. Greedy. Gotcha. Godot. Godot's greedy gotcha. Let's call it greedy gotcha. I got nothing. Oh, okay. We're going with greedy gotcha. I like the it has a nice rhythm to it. Greedy gotcha. We'll make it public. I believe I already have a license slapped onto this. Yeah, there's already a license. There's no git ignore because I'm a big dummy. So let's copy Dream Diary Jam 5. You can find all my other... Oh, no, there is a license. Oh, no, it's the git ignore. That's what I need. Yeah, so you can find all the games I've written before on my itch.io. And a lot of my games are open source anyways. So let's see. I think this should be fine. Yeah. What's inside of my git ignore? Yeah, no imports. Yeah, that's fine. Git add all. Git commit. Init. Oh, and then git remote. Add origin. Insert. Git. Oh, I forgot my git ignore. Very good. Git ignore. Git commit. Add. You know what? You know what? You can't mess this up the first time. Git init. Git add origin. Hello. Git add. Git remote. Add origin. Git add all. Git add. Git ignore. Git commit. Init. Git push. Origin. Upstream origin. Master. history. Yeah, there we go. Should be good. There's no README right now, but, you know, should be easy enough to understand under an Apache license, which is more or less like MIT, but offers me additional protections. So yeah, there we go. So thanks for tuning in. I'll be live tomorrow from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, working on maybe this again, maybe this, since I still need to rewrite the VRM importer, since this does, check this out, this does support VRM files, which is kind of the standard within the VTuber community and whatever. Just wait for it. It'll work. It looks like it's crashing, but don't worry. Haha. So this importer does need to be updated, so today was supposed to be a break from working on this, but in any case, you know, peep the Discord in my description, peep all the socials, blah blah blah, to keep updated. Give me a follow if you haven't already, and I will see you later. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's about it. Goodbye.